Hey guys, I'm Combat Craig, and today we're going to talk about the VA claims process. And instead of me just sitting here talking and throwing a word barrage at you, I thought I'd slow things down and do it in text format. So let me hop over to the screen share here. Much better. Hopefully, this works out better for both of us. So, who should help you navigate through the VA claims process? If you're thinking about filing a VA claim, you should start off by submitting your intent to file. I recommend you do everything online, but you can do it over the phone and you can also print it off and mail it in. Like I said, you could do it online, but if you want to go with the phone route, you're not comfortable with submitting an intent to file online, 800-827-1000. Or if you want to mail it in, you can download VA Form 21-0966, and you can mail it to the Department of Veterans Affairs Claims Intake Center, P.O. Box 444, Janesville, Wisconsin, 53547-4444. I wonder if they ever actually use those little dashes. If you're a postman, tell me. I always leave those off still. So, who should help you navigate through the VA claims process? The most common way most veterans go is locating Veteran Service Officer near me. I'm no exception. This is exactly how I did it about 3 different times. So, this might be the way you've already done it or you're thinking about doing it. This totally works. I would say that you do not need a veteran service officer near you, and you can pick a VSO you like, anywhere in the country. But you might want to, be able to go in and see your veteran service officer face to face in your VA regional office. So that might work better for you. You can also file your VA disability claim yourself. And for that, you might need to hire somebody to coach you through the process. And if that's the case, you can sign up at combatcraigwins.com, and my team would be happy to see how we can help. And if we can help, I'll leave the link in the comments. If you do not need coaching, you can gain access to most of this information online, and it's out there for free. I say most. It's pretty much all online. All the laws, the M21-1 adjudication manual the raters use, lots of good info about medical evidence and stuff like that and the legal process. But there's a few pieces that are held back. But basically, you could do this stuff for free and you could do it on your own. Just for me, I have a mental health problem, so it was better for me to work with a veteran coach to check out my strategy. All right, I found a veteran service officer near me. Now what? Looks like now I need to put an R on here. There we go. You'll make an appointment with your veteran service officer. You'll sign your power of attorney so he can act on your behalf and access your data. Your data is housed in a few places. One of them is the VBMS, and that stands for Veterans Benefits Management System. And he'll be able to look at most of your records. I've personally never accessed this system. I'm obviously not a VSL or accredited agent or anything like that. So, when I do things firsthand, then I know if they're true or not. So I say he could access most of it because I've never actually seen somebody access all of it. But he'll be able to get, pretty much all the stuff that you're going to need to file your claim. But I also have a copy of my VA claims file, and that contains everything about all my VA claims, all the decisions, all the CNP exams. So I recommend getting your VA claims file if you want all the information. Your veteran service officer will listen to what you want to claim, and then he's going to help you develop a strategy. This all comes down to strategy. Whether you think it's a strategy or know it's a strategy, It's a strategy. You have some disabilities that are bothering you. You have a claim in mind. You're thinking they're related to active duty. Now you're going to file a claim, and this is where the strategy comes in. What am I doing, and how am I going to be successful? Each disability you file a claim for should have a personal statement, in my opinion, and that should describe your symptoms, when the injury occurred, and how it affects your social and work life. Personal statements and or buddy letters from like your wife are important because you're able to speak about how your disability affects you and to a degree, how it's related to your active duty service. So every single disability, I mean, you're filing a disability claim, right? You should at least chime in on your disability. Each disability also needs to have a current diagnosis, a Nexus Link to your active duty service, and the severity of your symptoms need to be documented. Some of this might be in your service treatment records. Some of it might be in your Veterans Health Administration records when you go to your treating doctor at the VA. But you need to make sure you have all three of these things or you're setting yourself up for failure. We don't like failure. A current diagnosis, and I'll dive into this a little bit farther. A current diagnosis means recently in the past 6 months, year max, not 30 years ago. You're introducing a new claim and you don't want to rely on an old diagnosis. So if you have an old diagnosis, get a new one. If your VA doctor won't write one for you, which they don't a lot, then go to a private doctor. Get one. Nexus Link is something that the medical doctor writes, usually in the form of an independent medical opinion, and he is opining on how your current diagnosis and symptoms are related to your active duty service, either on a direct service connection or a secondary service connection basis. I mentioned that you can talk about your disabilities in your personal statement, but you're not able to diagnose yourself because you're not a doctor and you're not credible. I understand that you live with the pain and suffering and all that kind of stuff, but you are not qualified to give yourself a diagnosis. And this is a big part of the VA claims process, is getting these three things right. The last part here is the severity of symptoms need to be clearly visible to the VA rater that's going to be adjudicating your claim. We're going to go over an example of migraines, and I'll show you some of the parameters, but think about it. A VA rater is the person adjudicating your claim. I don't know how much time they have for each claimant, how many they do a day. Some are more complicated than others. But I would say if you filed a claim for a few things and you were able to clearly show them your severity of symptoms, it would probably be easier for them to get through your claim and give you an accurate rating versus not providing these three things and much documentation at all. So let's look at migraines and kind of go into into what it says. And it's also important for your doctor to use the exact language, such as prostrating, and how often your migraines cause you to prostrate, which is also known as lying down. So here's the code that it falls under, diagnostic code 8100. This also goes for all headaches. They just use the migraine rating code. And this talks about, this is in the law. And this is in the adjudication manual. So when you're talking about the severity of your symptoms, you're able to talk about it. But when your doctor is documenting the severity of your symptoms, this is how it needs to be done. If you have very frequent attacks causing you to lay down twice a week, once a week, they call it very frequent. I call it a couple times a week. And severe economic inadaptability, that's where the social and work life part comes in. That's a 50% rating. Now, if your migraines happen, on an average of once a month and you're in this prostrating state, 30%. 10% characteristic hashtag prostrating attacks. This is the hashtag for all of you guys playing around. I am throwing hashtags in here, and I'm going to randomly pick a winner, and we're going to talk about your VA claim. I threw my phone number out a few videos ago, and I ended up not making videos and making too many phone calls. And this is about educating lots of veterans, not doing one-on-one stuff. And then 0% is less frequent attacks. So depending on how your doctor describes and documents your severity of symptoms, whether it's a private doctor in an independent medical opinion, or if you're relying solely on the Veterans Health Administration doctor that you see, if they are not using this language and documenting the severity of your symptoms, you have a good chance of not getting the rating that you deserve on migraines in this example. But this is for every disability. I just chose migraines. They all have symptoms that don't bother you. They're mild, moderate, severe, and severe. So severity of symptoms, directly correlates to the rating you're going to receive. You're going to need to understand that in addition to filing your VA claim, there's legal maneuvers going on behind the scenes in case you don't get a favorable VA rating and you have to appeal the decision. So you're filing a claim like, hey, I'm just a veteran and I'm hurting, and it's because of my active duty service. You need to be able to put that argument together, strategy, argument, logical, grounded in law. The reason why it's grounded in law and this is all legal is there are legal things going on behind the scenes. And if you don't like your disability rating and you decide to appeal it, it becomes real legal real fast. That's why you need to be familiar with it. Each disability you file a claim for is its own entity, and the burden of proof is on you. It's not on the VA. It's not up to them to prove your claim. It's up to you. They will assist you, but you need to prove that your current disability is somehow connected to your active duty service, whether it's a direct service connection, a secondary service connection, if you're filing for an increase, if this is a presumptive connection, whatever it is, you need to prove it. If your VA claim gets denied, you'll be able to challenge the decision if you proved your VA claim. You're going to have an easier time winning it at one of the lower levels of appeals. I wanted to talk about the appeals process a little bit because that is the last part of the VA claims process. And a subscriber sent me this chart, and I'm going to kind of scroll around and put in my couple 2 cents here. So this is the 2019 Bva Rep Denial Rate. So how this works is attorneys have the best denial rate, meaning they get denied least. Think about it. They're lawyers. That's what they do. They go look for arguments, flaws, loopholes, technicalities. That's what they do. They go into the law, and then they go look into how the law was applied to your claim, and they blow holes in it. So it makes sense that a lawyer would have the highest grade. The rest of these are the various VSO organizations. Not really sure how they came up with this or why one would receive a higher rating than another. But VSOs will help you in the appeals process. Some are obviously better than others, but they're not lawyers. They do understand how to make legal arguments to a degree, I would imagine. But at the end of the day, lawyers have the best success rate. VSOs have the second best success rate. And then no rep at the very bottom is us, the veterans. Veterans arguing our own appeals is low because I don't think most veterans truly understand the argument that they're making and what kind of legal evidence they will need to win their appeal. I don't think a lot of veterans understand how to file a VA disability claim or understand the VA claims process. And that's why I made this channel, to explain it in my own special little Combat Craig sort of way. The things that I've learned and ways to be helpful and give you guys things to think about while you're filing your VA claim. So you need to understand you're about to embark on a potential legal journey when you file your VA disability claim. Do not file 15 things at once. Then you're basically making 15 different arguments within inside one claim. If you claim 2 things, that's cool. You know, it's a little easier to focus on 2 things. 15 things, so many things can go wrong. You don't dot one I or cross a T or whatever, you're going to have problems. So I'm going to leave you here, and if you want to check out some easy VA disability claims to win, there's a thumbnail popped up on the screen, so check that out, and I'll just tell you what they are. Tinnitus, musculoskeletal issues, and mental health claims.